from Fox 26. The News Edge at 10 starts now.
I'm Caitlin Monty. Welcome to the News Edge. And tonight we want to start with Tropical Storm Gamma, which has now formed in the Caribbean. We are your Gulf Coast Weather Authority here on Fox 26. So let's bring in Dr. Jim for a look at whether Gamma is heading our way. Jim, are we starting to see a path yet?
Well, it's still not even in the Gulf of Mexico. It's still in the Caribbean, but over the weekend it's going to move across the Yucatan and then head into the Gulf of Mexico, which would actually be very interesting for us, except that the great weather we've been having, if we can take a look at it, is going to keep it away from us. So it is now a tropical storm with winds at 40 miles per hour. And we had the front that came through earlier in the week. That's still out there. And then this next front that just came through, that's like a double whammy that's going to block it. So it comes into the Gulf and makes a right-hand turn, or a left-hand turn, I should say, away from us. And that's why I'm not so concerned about it. So looking ahead in the Fox Weather forecast, we are talking about sunny and mild weather for us, a little bit cooler in the morning, and we'll talk about maybe what impacts we could have from what was Tropical Depression 25, which is now Gamma, all coming up in the forecast.
Topping the rundown of what everyone will be talking about in the weekend is, of course, the president's confirmed COVID-19 diagnosis. Everyone who has been near him is being tested for the virus and will likely see the virus continue as more positive tests come back, and thus more people will need to be tested who are close to those people. As of tonight, the president and his wife have tested positive, along with his top aide and the party chair. His children have tested negative, but 2 senators have now tested positive, as did the president of Notre Dame University, leading to a lot of concern that they might have caught it or had it at the recent Supreme Court nomination event. And you know who else was at that event? Kellyanne Conway, who now says she has tested positive, confirming it right after her daughter posted the news on TikTok. Conway is quarantining and says she only has mild symptoms. The president's going to be spending several days at Walter Reed Medical Center, where he was taken this afternoon. It's being called a move of abundant precaution because they have an entire wing there that's built for presidents to be able to live and continue to work while under medical observation or supervision. He is in several high-risk categories. The head of infectious disease for Baylor College of Medicine explained the need to closely monitor the first family.
So as you get older, your risk goes up, and that kind of continues on no matter what, how old you get. So the fact that she's a couple decades younger than the president makes a big difference. That said, I mean, I've seen people in the hospital die of COVID in their 50s, and there are certainly cases of people dying in younger ages without a lot of pre-existing or other comorbid conditions. So no one should take this lightly. You don't want to get this infection. The odds are in their favor. Most people who get coronavirus don't die from it, but it's very difficult to say for sure whether the president and the first lady will be fine.
So far, the president's only confirmed symptom is fatigue. Now, fatigue is one of 11 major symptoms of COVID-19 listed by the CDC. The others are fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, aches, new loss of smell or taste, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, and diarrhea. If you have any of those symptoms, you should consider calling your doctor and limiting your exposure to others until you get a chance to get tested. CDC is recommending quarantining for 12 days after a positive test or until you test negative. And remember, wash your hands, social distance, and most importantly, wear a mask. A doctor at UT Health gave us a little bit more detail on the experimental treatment Regeneron, which the president is now receiving.
It's a combination of antibodies that this company has developed to target the spike protein of the virus, the coronavirus. And the spike protein is a thing on the surface of the virus that allows it to attach to human cells and then infect them.
It's administered just one time through IV. Researchers say it has shown progress in fighting the virus. Well, social media is just flooded with speculation on who's going to test positive next. People are sharing videos of maskless hugs at recent political events, photos of the president interacting closely with supporters. People are taking note that his team did not wear masks while at the debate.
And if there's one lesson from today, it's that here's the President of the United States who lives in the biggest bubble that exists on the planet, and he got it through no fault of his own, and so the answer is wear the damn mask.
Debate moderator Chris Wallace there saying his family will be tested soon. The Bidens have tested negative, and they've chosen to temporarily suspend all negative campaign ads. Video of the president tossing hats into the crowd at his Wednesday rally in Minnesota 24 hours before he tested positive. Now 3 Minnesota Congress members have confirmed they flew with him to the rally on Air Force One. He was attending a private fundraiser that evening as well. The Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in Amsterdam now putting the president's wax figure in quarantine, putting a mask on him as well and caution tape around his figure. Now, while his symptoms are mild, people have asked what would happen if he does get too sick to work. It's happened before in U.S. history 3 times. If that happens, he would have to let Congress know, and the 25th Amendment would put the vice president in charge. Again, it's happened before, happened twice with George W. Bush in office. He used it while he was undergoing some medical procedures. If the president's too sick to even communicate that he's too sick to work, the vice president needs to get a majority of essentially other D.C. leaders to agree with him that he would need to take over. Vice President Pence has tested negative today. Twitter is banning tweets that wish pain or death on the president as a result of his diagnosis, reminding that such talk is a violation of their rules and can end up getting your account suspended. Airlines are being asked to hit the brakes on furloughs. Tens of thousands of them are planned, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is telling them that more pandemic aid is now imminent. They're hoping for $25 billion to help them preserve jobs. The city of Houston reporting 21 new COVID-related deaths and also reporting a pretty massive backlog of COVID cases, more than 2,000 of them. They reported just over 200 new recent COVID cases. 14-day positivity average is around 5.6%. The Texas Education Agency has reposted their school district COVID case data. They took it down last week over inaccuracies. Districts with fewer than 50 students in classrooms are not being listed in the results. 250,000 Texans have to pay back some of their unemployment. The Texas Workforce Commission says people got overpaid to the tune of $214 million total. They're blaming oversights that happened in the rush to get benefits processed. And if this impacts you, you'll find out from a notice in the mail. Amazon has surpassed 19,000 COVID cases among their workforce, still getting criticism for some who say their pandemic response has been too weak in certain facilities as customer demand taxes their workforce. But Amazon's now hiring dozens of lab technicians to conduct thousands of tests per day. People in South Houston have been contacting us about prostitution problems. Our Tiffany Justice went out to take a look. And Tiffany, I got a tweet from someone in the area who says it's been a problem for decades. Did you see the problem too?
Yes, it's right out in front of us. We have spoken to a lot of residents who have lived in this area, the Glen Crest area, for years. They say that they have seen more sex workers out and about as well. Since we have been here, we have definitely seen more. The area right behind us is heavily trafficked, many people coming in and out, and we have seen some sex workers hop into those cars as well and drive off. So residents are so concerned about this. They gathered today to hold a press conference with Quanell X. They say sex workers specifically gather right outside of a nearby motel. Residents say the motel is also aiding in this by supplying and selling condoms and a single baby wipe for about $1 each. People who even work nearby are saying they have had enough.
You could see a mom driving her kid down the feeder. You don't want to see that. She doesn't want to see some woman right by an adult video store with no, barely having any clothes on. She's going to have to shield that kid away from seeing that. It's not good for the community. We need to get rid of it immediately. The other day I reported there was about 8 people. So it's really bad. I mean, I'm tired of seeing it.
Now, we did reach out to a human trafficking organization called United Against Human Trafficking. They say we are not necessarily seeing an increase of sex workers per se, but what we may be seeing is that the sex workers are making themselves more available during daytime hours. They also go on to say, since we are dealing with COVID-19, it's impacted so many people's work schedule and work. It also has impacted the hours of demand, is what we're being told. Reporting live, Tiffany Justice, Fox 26 News.
Tiffany, thank you. More than 20 hours of audio from the Breonna Taylor grand jury are now public. It's a very rare move. People are now able to comb through it and listen to what officers had to say about the police killing from their perspective.
We knocked on the door. Said police, waited, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. Okay. Knocked again, said police, waited even longer.
The officers told the grand jury that they knocked as many as 6 or even 7 times. The FBI is investigating whether Brianna's civil rights were violated when she was killed. A federal judge in Austin is being asked to block Governor Greg Abbott's order that gives counties only one drop-off spot for mail-in ballots. The Texas and National Leagues of United Latin American Citizens, the League of Women Voters of Texas, and 2 private citizens are among those who filed the lawsuit, calling it improper and a form of voter suppression. As of now, NRG Stadium is the only location for drop-off in Harris County. Snapchat has helped more than 1 million people register to vote, double what they did for 2018 midterms. They have resources right within the app, and 3 in 5 who've registered there will be first-time voters versus someone who maybe updated their address. Last weekend to register to vote is this weekend. The deadline is Monday. This is it. Early voting starts a week after that. To check if you're all set and ready to vote, or if you need to register, visit vote.org. Early voting starts October 13th. Remember to fill out your census. You have until the end of the month. It was extended from the Monday deadline that was going to be the early deadline to stop the census early. A judge said no, that they weren't going to be allowed to do that, thus giving more time for a more accurate count. The FBI is preparing for any Election Day violence. The Department of Justice as well. They do this every year, but reports claim that they're particularly concerned this round. Some groups are expressing concern about voter intimidation getting pretty intense. Twitter is building a system to fight misinformation that's called Birdwatch. It'll give you more context to tweets, and you can have notes that would give additional information for others to view. Harvey Weinstein was hit with 6 more charges of sexual assault in California. 2 more women accusing the disgraced movie mogul of rape in the early and late 2000s. He insists it was all consensual, but he's currently serving 23 years for rape and assault in New York. After he was randomly attacked in New York City, people are vowing to protect Rick Moranis at all costs. The Ghostbusters and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids star got punched. He's okay, but the attacker didn't even try to rob him. It's unclear why he hit him. Chris Evans among those saying that it's got his blood boiling, encouraging everyone to help police find the culprit. Murder hornets are back, and they're looking for a nest of them this time in Washington. We're talking about those massive hornets that slaughter entire beehives and kill humans. Facebook is calling out the 8th most popular movie on Netflix, a documentary called The Social Dilemma. It's a provocative look at social media's impact, and Facebook has released a list of problems they have with how they portray the industry, claiming that the film isn't nuanced enough to truly capture what's going on. Twitter's trying to fix the way photos show up in your timeline before you click them. They say that the preview that you see is auto-selected based on what the computer decides is the most important or notable part of the picture, but people pointed out it often crops faces and more often crops the faces of minorities versus those with lighter skin. Rihanna is being celebrated for the diversity of her model lineup for her Fenty lingerie show. Models of all sizes, all skin colors, all backgrounds, looking stunning. People hoping that it will set the bar for the fashion world to diversify a little bit more. Houston's own A-listers Lizzo and Normani were among those who modeled. And that is the rundown. Coming up, we have some tips for those of you brave enough to try to make a little money by playing the banks a little bit, looking at maybe trying to find some savings. And we still have Coco. Hey, Coco.
Hi, it's Coco Dominguez. Let's switch gears and kick off Halloween right here at the Haunted Drive. I am in Splendora. It's Houston's only haunted drive-through, so right through there, that's where I'm going to be taking you just in a few minutes. Join me. It's Coco Dominguez, Fox 26 News.
Tonight's laugh of the night, thanks to KJP on TikTok, putting his pumpkin spice twist on the now viral video of Nathan, the Fleetwood Mac skateboarder, sending good vibes as we all head into the weekend. With the future so uncertain, many people are stashing money where they can, of course, trying to save up. And if they're making enough to do so, our Heather Sullivan has some smart sense on ways to maximize those savings, or even how to find a little more wiggle room in your expenses.
Banks are offering you anywhere from $100 to $700 to open a new checking or savings account. And that's because for people who can save money, they have been saving big time. Take a look at the spike in this graph. Personal savings went from saving 8% of their money in January to a record 32% in April and was still high at 19% in June, according to Federal Reserve data.
You know, we are in a unique opportunity right now for some people that they're able to stay home and not be outside as much, which means saving more money.
Interest rates are low right now, so banks are offering big bonuses to get you to stash your cash with them. Bankrate compiled some of the best bonuses for opening a checking account in October. Associated Bank, $500, HSBC up to $400, TD Bank, $300, PNC Bank up to $300, and Huntington National Bank a whopping $750. Budgeting expert Jamila Souffrant says if saving money seems impossible to you right now, there are still ways to save. First, make it automatic.
So that can be setting up a direct deposit from your paycheck to your savings account, or if your employer does not allow you to do that, you can directly schedule transferring money from a savings account to a checking account or vice versa.
She suggests refinancing high interest debt.
So if you have a high interest rate car loan or a credit card, there's lots of opportunities right now to refinance and to do different things. So you can looking at your maybe credit union or your bank about the rates that they have.
Souffrant says ask cell phone, cable, and internet or insurance providers for discounts.
You can just ask, are there any discounts possibly that I am qualified to get that's not on my account? Or what can you offer me for being a valued customer?
Be sure and check credit unions and online banks too for their rates, and know the details of an account before you open it. You don't want the fees to end up eating up your bonus if you can't maintain a required minimum balance. You'll find Bankrate's complete list of the bonuses that banks are offering right now on my Facebook page. Heather Sullivan, Fox 26.
And hey, look up tonight. The moon and Mars are going to be hanging out pretty close together, much closer than they usually are. Mars will also be shining brighter during the month of October in general than it has in the past 15 years. Now, I say look up. Of course, Dr. Jim, that's always contingent on there not being too many clouds to get in our way when we're trying to stargaze. How are we doing tonight?
There are no clouds to get in the way. So you can see this beautiful moon and enjoy it. And it's not too cold, it's not too warm either, too humid. So it's perfect viewing conditions out there for that.
Love it.
It is great, isn't it? Okay, let's talk about our temperatures. Now, as we look what's been going on today, we had another front that came through, and so the temperatures came down in the morning hours, and we got all the way up to 84 by the afternoon. 58, the low temperature, that's not bad. 65 would be average for this time of year. 47, the record low. Now, currently, temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Not much wind out there to speak of, and I really don't have a lot of wind to talk about either. Quick check, Tropical Storm Gamma. It's going to make that left-hand turn once it makes it into the Gulf of Mexico. Really isn't going to have much of an impact on us at all. Might send some swells across the Gulf, and that's even questionable, at least at this point anyway. And those fronts that keep coming through, and also the high pressure behind us, that's helping to block those away. So Saturday, 58 in the morning, 74 at noon, 83 by the afternoon, and here's your 7-day forecast. More of the same. Now, another wind shift will happen by Sunday night, so Monday is looking pretty good with temperatures in the 80s. We'll have one more night in the 50s, and then most of us will be in the low 60s. Our northern counties could see temperatures still in the 50s going on to next week. So this great weather is going to continue, and I hope you have a chance to go out inside and enjoy the beautiful weather this weekend. We'll be right back.
It's Coco Dominguez here in Splendora, and this is the moment of truth. I am at the Haunted Drive, getting ready to go through the Haunted Drive. You don't even have to get out of the car to get spooked. I'm not going to lie, I'm already a little scared. I see a few clowns, but with you, with me in here, I can do this. Let's go, H-Town. Oh, this is a real one. You really shouldn't go by yourself. You should have somebody to watch your back. There's too much going on. You can't tell which ones are real. Okay. Ah! Oh, that's my phone. At this point, I'm just paranoid. No! Put it up! Ah! Let's take my breath. tarantulas everywhere. This is so awesome and scary at the same time.
A haunted drive is the first ever in the United States drive-through haunted house, and it's already COVID friendly. The people you come here with, where you're not really standing in line with a bunch of strangers. You're sitting in the comfort of your own car, roll down the windows if you want to, and have the time of your life. You drive 2 to 3 miles an hour. It takes 6 to 7 minutes to go through Haunted Drive, and you're gonna go through 10 different haunts. Things like a haunted carnival, a spider area, our killer gas station, our mad scientist, and 6 others. We're open from 7:30 to 11:30, Friday and Saturday. Characters are not allowed to put their hands in or on your car. You're supposed to stay a safe distance, and they won't throw anything at you, but they will scare the crap out of you.
That's Jason! That's Jason! Uh-oh. Stop! No.
It wasn't funny at all. It was scary, and they were not nice. And they no.
It was awesome.
It was good. It was pretty
good?
scary.
What do you guys think about this being an option, even though this is their 3rd year?
Oh my gosh, that's all I wanted. I wanted Halloween, and we got it. It was perfect.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing. If you want to come out there, we're open till 11:30. As long as you're in line by 11:30, you can still get in. It is $20 per vehicle and $30 if you got people in the back of the pickup truck. It is Coco Dominguez enjoying Halloween season already at the Haunted Drive in Splendora, Fox 26 News.
All right, Isaiah, it's Friday night. What you got?
Well, coming up on The Factor, Caitlin, we talk about President Donald Trump and his diagnosis of being COVID-19 positive and his hospitalization. Also, we catch up with comedian and actor Bill Bellamy here on The Factor Uncensored tonight.